Before I get into anything on Cosmo Genesis, look at that box. That box is one of my top 5 graphic designs for the Famicom. I love the logo, the silver and gold theme, the picture of the Orion Nebula. It's a really wonderful bit of design. It would have looked a little bit out of date in 1986. It's more something out of the 1970s, which is appropriate for Cosmo Genesis since the games it comes from are also out of the 70s. Similar to Star Luster, Cosmo Genesis is based on a classic Star Trek mainframe game and Atari's more action-based version of it, Star Raiders. The premise is that there's a randomly generated solar system, and you start in the upper left-hand side of this map. An invading alien fleet starts in the lower right, and you have to take all of the aliens out. Over time, though, they'll move in and destroy the planets and space stations that you need. In the US, Cosmo Genesis was released as Star Voyager. I found Star Voyager to be much easier to play than Cosmo Genesis. In Japan, it's not well remembered, and the few comments I could find on it were all about how difficult it was. So this seems to be one of those cases where the later release took advantage of the feedback players had for the original one. The control scheme for Cosmo Genesis is a little bit confusing. The A button shoots the main gun. That's the easy part. The B button accelerates your ship as long as you hold it down. Then it maintains speed when you release. Then if you tap B again, the speed falls down to 0. If you press and hold B, then you start accelerating. So now we need to go someplace. Hit select to bring up the map and ship status screen. You choose what sector you're targeting, and then hit select to go back to the pilot view. On the status screen you can also turn on the shields. They consume a lot of fuel, but prevent your ship from taking extra damage when you're shot. The best choice is to turn it on when you reach a sector with enemies. You can tell the shield is up because the screen turns green. Okay, we have a targeted sector. The crosshair tells you what sector you're aimed at, so don't move after you've selected one from the map. Now you accelerate until you're in the red zone, and then the upper left bar starts filling with red spots. Each of those represents a sector that you're going to jump. When it matches the range given at the bottom of the screen, accelerate again to max to initiate the warp. The bar on the upper right-hand side is how much fuel your ship has, and each of those spots represents one full bar on the right-hand side. Warping takes a lot of fuel, though warping longer distances doesn't use up that much more fuel than warping a short distance. If the fuel gauge runs out, then it's game over. The other way you can game over is warping to the black hole sector. It's this pink mark here. Why would you ever want to go there? Well, you don't. But your ship drifts a little bit in the warp, and it's not uncommon to wind up a little bit off from your intended target. Before you go off to fight the aliens, you're going to want to get a few things. 2 of the system's planets have power-ups for you. One for laser, one for engine. To land on a planet, you have to fly to the sector, then you have to swing your ship around until you spot the planet, then accelerate to get close to it. You'll only land when your speed is 1 or 2 though. If there's someone there, you get an upgrade. Otherwise, if there's no one there to get you, you just fly off again. You take back off just by pressing the A button. You dock with space stations using the same method, and they'll refill your energy tanks as well as repair your ship. These spots are asteroids, and they really exist only to get in your way. Finally, let's take a look at the aliens. And what you'll find is that they're almost impossible to defeat. They move fast, hit your ship with a constant stream of shots that you can't dodge, and there's a ton of them in any sector. They also completely respawn if you leave the sector. In recording this video, I never managed to defeat an alien fleet. They inevitably pounded me flat, knocked out my shields and systems, and then drained my fuel away with their final few shots. I never had this much trouble with these guys playing Star Voyager. So while I was playing this, I just kept thinking, everything in Star Luster was so much better. There was more to do, the combat was better, the controls were simpler, There is more going on with the ship. It's just a better game in every way. And even then I still found Starluster to be a bit rough. Cosmo Genesis, the only thing it really has going for it is that gorgeous box.